Okay, so once I have that big chunk of the flowers up here, I'm going to just sort of see how the stems and the highlight, where they go. So there's this white highlight that comes down like this and goes a little bit below that line. And then one of the stems shows up right there. And it actually, that's right. No, it's a little higher up. Shows up right there, and then it comes up into the bottle neck. There's like a little, that's where the water is. There's sort of a curvy one right here, and a straight one that goes down below this line right here. So I'm not really trying to draw them perfectly. I'm just trying to let myself know where they are so that when I go to paint, those are indicators for me. Then I'm going to see that the top of the bottle is about right there, the lip of it, and it kind of makes a little, I don't know what you call it, little mark like that. So that's just giving me generally where the bottle is. Now I want to get what's called the contour of the edge, and that's just sort of the shapes that the edge of the flowers make in relation to the grid. So like in this corner of this square right here, it makes kind of like a shape like that. And maybe it's a little high, but then it comes down in this corner, it makes a little shape, another little triangle right there. Wish I was ambidextrous. I can kind of be a little ambidextrous. And then I'm going to look at this shape that's made with the bottom of this square and this diagonal, and it's just like a little triangle. Then I'm just gonna go around the flowers and see what shapes the edges of the flowers make in relation to the grid. Not being too perfect about it, but you know, I'm seeing this shape right here. And it comes in here, and then how much of this flower interacts with that diagonal? I think it's a little bit less than I have, so I'll just do that a little bit. And then this just sort of does something like that. And like I said, I'm drawing more heavily than you'll want to do because I just want y'all to clearly see what I'm doing. And I actually drew this out on a painter surface. This is just paper, so that when we change, I'm not going to have that problem we had with the last painting where my graphite marks got they sort of muddied my painting up a little bit. So this shape right here kind of goes down, and this flower kind of comes into that line. It actually has a little point on it right here. I'm not going to be too crazy about this, but there's like a little point and then something like that. So I'm working from the out inward. So I'm just going to kind of go, this is it doesn't touch this line right here. This petal doesn't touch this line. I've got a little close, but that's okay. And it just kind of comes down to here. Then the flower that's on the right, that's mostly in shadow, it comes from behind this, and it kind of just goes sort of straight down to about right here, and then it comes over like that a little bit. Then it's going to cross over, come down, and just go all the way up like that. And you could do this all with straight lines and then make all the curves and stuff with your paint if you wanted to. But once you have the general shape of the group, then you know that you're good. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. It just needs to be generally the shape of the group and, you know, where the whole group is. And then you can break things down inside it. So this white pansy on the left, this is its edge right here, and it's going to come up, and it's just going to go in a little bit, and it's going to come over to this point. This is the bottom of it right here. So by drawing this line, what we've drawn is the left edge of the middle pansy. So that's what that is. And it comes, there's this little curvy triangle. It's a negative space. Y'all heard that before? The term negative space. There's a little sort of gray negative space in there. I've overemphasized it just so you can see it. And I'm just going to draw the bottom of this. Wait, I went too far down. I'm going to draw the bottom of this. No, I didn't. That's good. Of this pansy. It's kind of like a, I don't know what shape that is. It's almost like a lima bean on the bottom petal. Y'all see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I went a little too high on that, so I'm just going to redraw it. And so if you're using light pencil, then these extra marks aren't problematic. And then the little thing that pansies are so famous for, their little faces, you know, that little triangle up in there. And that's where the two side petals meet. So I'm going to make like just a shape that goes to that from this little triangle. And then I'm going to go to the right. I have a hard time with right and left. I really have to think about which one's which. And it kind of does that. Another thing about painting and about drawing is this idea of emphasis. Like I'm going to draw, because this one's front and center, I'm going to draw it more carefully than maybe this one or this one. I'll probably draw this the most carefully, this the second most carefully, and this the third most carefully. So this will be pushing back. It won't be as assertive as these two. So basically, we've got our drawing. There is this little, I don't know what you call these things on flowers that were the bud, and then they open up, that green thing right there, and there's a little bit of it hanging down right there. I'm going to redraw this one a little bit, just to give it a little curve. Oh, and I see two more things I want to do. I want the face, the yellow face in this white petal, and I want where the petal curves over like this. It's sort of like a half moon shape right there. And my drawing is a little off here, but that's okay. There's a little face in there, and this petal connects to that. So I feel like I'm pretty good to go. I do see one more thing. I keep saying, oh, I see one more thing. I want this little curve right here. So that to me, well, there are a couple more things. Let's talk, there's one more thing that's really important that I love about this photograph, and I love about transparency and really helps to emphasize the appearance of transparency, is that light passes through transparent objects. So the kind of shadows that they throw include light. So on the right of the bottle, there's this dark sort of, it's sort of an oval shape that kind of comes out like this, but in the middle of it is a light shape like that. Like I said, I'm going to overemphasize marks a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. But this area is light, and these areas are darker. I'm going to mess around with the bottom of this bottle a little bit. It's a little darker right here. Kind of has a little oval right there. And then another one about right here. What I'm doing right now is just making marks darker so you can see them. I don't want y'all to draw this dark because it'll, like I said, it'll mess up your graphite will get into your paint and it'll drive you crazy. At least it drives me crazy. So you're going to have something similar to what I have right here.